Hey guys, Adventures in Bitcoin here, and I wanted to do a video about this, just kind of my thoughts over the past couple of days on what's been going on in the markets. And I really don't like the way the direction crypto is going, and I say that with a heavy heart because I'm just so darn bullish on Bitcoin, and that's still the case. But I just I need to share with you my thoughts on the direction so that everyone's in a different situation. I'm in a different situation from what you're in, how much you're exposed, how much you have at risk in the market. So I want to share with you the information of what I'm seeing so you can make the best decision for you. For me, it doesn't affect because I'm long cryptocurrency, and the money that I have invested in cryptocurrency, I've written that off in my mind. That is kind of, to me, like I would look at a 401k or any other kind of investment. It's for the future. I'm not planning on using or spending it, although I'm always looking for different passive income investments. That's different. I look at that differently. A passive income investment would be something that I set aside to draw on from time to time. So let's just get into my thoughts on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general. I think the prices are going to come down, and I say that because and I'm not the only one saying it, the consensus meeting, which is this big conference that happens every year, it's not affecting the price. Usually it pumps the price and all these people get together, all these enthusiasts get together, all the market makers and the people that are innovating in this space. When they get together and they converge and they share ideas, there's kind of a surge of interest in cryptocurrencies, and we usually see a price pump, and we haven't seen that. And there hasn't really been extremely negative news, and it hasn't really been extremely positive news. There hasn't really been much interest at all in cryptocurrencies lately. And I also watched a video from a buddy of mine, a YouTuber by the name of Daniel Dimitrov. Subscribe to his channel. It's really great. He's actually the very first YouTuber that I found when I got into cryptocurrency, and I've been following him, so he's more experienced than me. He's not like a hotshot trader or chart reader or anything, but he has tons more experience than I do with cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, and he's been watching the charts longer than I have, and he kind of has a better feel for this space. So when he says something, I really take it to heart. And he has this video, 3 reasons Bitcoin might drop to 4,900 this summer. Go check the video out. But he shows this chart here of the consensus conferences, and from 2015 to 2018, and you can see the attendees have gone up. So in comparison to 2017, last year, there was around 2,700 participants, as opposed to this year's over 7,000. And they've seen, in previous years, they've seen a pump in the price of Bitcoin and altcoins, but this year, nothing. Zilch. So that is concerning. The other thing he talked about in his video that I really liked, that made sense, was he looked at he compared NASDAQ, the market cycle of NASDAQ, with what Bitcoin's doing, and if you look, they're very similar. See that? See how similar they are? And NASDAQ came all the way down to this support point before bouncing and rallying back. The important thing to note here, though, is that with the NASDAQ, if I blow it up, this is the course of many years. Where we did that in Bitcoin, we did that in the course of 1 year. So you have to kind of take that into account too. Where will we be next year? Where will be the year after that? So it's like Bitcoin is not a stock. You can't really look at it as a stock, but the chart patterns, the fundamentals of chart reading and technical analysis remain the same. Doesn't matter what the underlying asset is. And I've also been following Hyperwave, which is another sort of kind of like Elliott Wave but longer term. And the Hyperwave folks are saying that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is in this leg 7, which is going to come down below, typically it comes down below the start of the pump. So the start of the pump started in this one leg, then it's going to drop below that one leg for it to complete a hyperwave, and it hasn't done that yet. I don't think it's going to come down that low. I don't think Bitcoin will come down that low again because of the incredibly low supply and the interest and the amount of people that are aware of it now. But I do think it's going to come down more. And I draw these trend lines here to kind of give you an idea. It's definitely going to pull back to this one, and at some point it's going to pull back to this bottom red one. That's my thoughts. Also, if you look at the RSI is losing steam. It's heading towards the oversold category here. And if we change RSI to, let's change the indicator to MACD. And the MACD is the moving average, convergence, and divergence. I have videos on all this. Search my channel. I have videos on hyperwave, I have videos on Elliott wave, and I have videos on chart reading and these indicators as well. So go ahead and check it out. So in the daily chart, the MACD is still in the negative, and when these cross, it's very when the moving averages cross, it's very significant of a change in direction. So as you can see, it crossed right here. That coincides with the price falling, this top here. So there's no telling how far this will fall. We use these resistance points as where it'll find some support, and then maybe find some support here. There's also some support levels horizontally here, and here before it reaches here. But I think if it comes down to this, it's gonna break through it and go to this support. This support, which goes back to the trend line starting from the original pump in 2017. So that's my thoughts. If we look at Ethereum, Ethereum is going to follow Bitcoin in the short term. We're seeing a head and shoulders here, so that indicates it's going to fall to the downside and maybe catch on this. But we also have this green support here, and also the RSI is falling. So not a very good outlook for cryptocurrencies. I wanted to share that with you. For me, I'm just holding. If you have a lot at risk and you wanted to maybe avoid this downfall, maybe pick up a bottom later, you may want to sell some positions off. It's up to you. I'm not in the business of telling you what to do, because most of the time I'm going to be wrong. You can do as much as you can to predict what it might do, but you got to take your risks, and you got to take your calculated risks, and you got to go with your gut. And like I said, it depends on how much you have at risk and what makes sense for your particular situation. So for me, I'm holding. What I'm doing is with my Ethereum, dabbling in these smart contracts. It's a way to park my Ethereum and earn off of it while the price is falling. So even though the USD value of the Ethereum is falling, I'm earning more of it. So it's sort of dollar cost averaging up as it's falling and as it's going up again. So that's sort of my plan. I'm not doing all of my Ethereum, obviously, because that would be stupid. There is incredible amount of scams in this space. They keep finding newer and newer ways to scam people out of their cryptocurrency. So you just have to be very, very careful. I try to only talk about things that I have at least some confidence in, and I've been able to verify from myself that it is safe as far as I can tell. So in the smart contract space, we're seeing these clones pop up. Like the latest is Superman, that's not affiliated with the YouTuber that they're made about. But as long as the smart contract is valid, and you can always, there's usually a way to compare, where you can compare the code. And after a while, you get familiar with what you need to be looking at and where things get a little sketchy. In the case of Supo, the code is almost exactly the same. You'll see changes in the ambassadors and in the names. There's only 2 ambassadors in Supo's contract, but the rest is pretty much word for word. The only other thing, lately they've been trying to scam people by having their exchange point to another contract. That's something you need to be on the lookout for. But a lot of these newer ones now are going to have, in order to prove their legitimacy, are going to have a way that you can run your own exchange. So look for that with these smart contracts, just to be on the safe side. So with Supo, you can actually download the files and upload them to your own web server if you know how to do that. Or you can find someone that you trust that's running one and use theirs. There's nothing wrong with that. For now, for me, CG Now, that's sort of my main squeeze, my long-term hold for earning off of smart contracts. Supo, I'm speculating on this We Love Superman contract, even though I am not a fan of Superman. And also Poo is another one. I have a very little amount of ETH, probably $100, $200 of ETH I had invested there, and I just draw off of that and dabble in some of the other ones. So it's just an option. You don't have to do it if you don't feel comfortable with it, but if you're inclined to experiment and try out some of these smart contracts, I have links in the description of the ones that I'm personally in and I'm trusting my Ethereum with. So that's it for today. I wish it was better news. That's how I feel right now. Hopefully tomorrow things will change and I'll be in a better mood and have some better news for you. But for now, I think cryptocurrency is going to come down. So that is it. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment. If you disagree, leave a comment. Tell me why you disagree. All right. Until the next video, stay profitable, my friends. Peace.